Welcome to the Titan Tar channel. Today we have a topic to discuss about Petropavlovka under fire and the critical approach of Russian forces to Kupyansk. Don't miss the chance to join us and share your opinions with us by subscribing and liking to grow our community. Become a member of our channel and evolve your rank. Russian army units have advanced on the strategic settlement of Petropavlovka, which is less than 3 kilometers from the city of Kupyansk in the Kharkov region. This location is crucial for the defense of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, which use Petropavlovka as an important stronghold to protect the eastern approaches to Kupyansk, a key city in the region. In addition, Russian forces managed to occupy more advantageous positions near Kupyansk, specifically in another strategically important area. There, Russian troops broke through a new Ukrainian defense line, enabling an advance towards the Oskol River. At the same time, to the north of this front, the battle line continues to gradually approach Kupyansk, consolidating Russian pressure on Ukrainian positions. To the south of the city, the Russian army also made important tactical gains, improving its position in several areas. The Russian offensive in this region has been intensively supported by strikes by TOS-1 systems, which have caused significant losses to Ukrainian forces. If Russian troops manage to reach the Oskol River, the group of Ukrainian forces stationed on the left bank will be cut off, which will significantly complicate the supply of these troops. Alongside these advances on the Eastern Front, the Russian offensive is taking place against the backdrop of a protracted standoff in the Kursk region inside Russia, where the Ukrainian Armed Forces launched an invasion about 3 months ago. Despite Russian efforts to gradually expel Ukrainians from the occupied territories, President Zelensky appears determined to maintain a foothold in Russia's Kursk region, treating it as a matter of vital importance. Despite significant losses in troops and equipment, the Ukrainian General Staff continues to send reinforcements to the area in compliance with Zelensky's direct order. This continued commitment to defending new fronts, such as Donetsk, where Ukrainian reserves are visibly dwindling, does not appear to worry the government in Kiev. The growing weakness of Ukrainian positions in several regions has not prevented Zelensky from pursuing his Kursk strategy, a fact that has even intrigued unnamed American officials. They believe that Ukraine will try to hold the Kursk border region under control for as long as possible, perhaps for several months, despite logistical difficulties and the lack of Russian activity in trying to dislodge Ukrainian troops. The explanation for this situation seems to lie in the Russian army's focus on other sectors, particularly in the east, in Donbass. In this context, although some American experts point out that Ukraine would have no problem transferring reserves to Kursk, Zelensky's public statements suggest another logic. He allegedly mentioned the possibility of using the territory as a bargaining chip in future negotiations with Moscow. However, with Russian President Vladimir Putin apparently not seriously interested in peace talks, the timing for such negotiations remains uncertain, as Western analysts point out. U.S. officials also comment on the situation with ammunition supplies to the Ukrainian Armed Forces, claiming that the West has resolved this issue with the help of initiatives such as the Czech Republic. However, these claims are misleading, since Prague has managed to deliver only about a third of the promised bombs. In addition, the United States has practically stopped sending military support to Kiev, and this situation is unlikely to change until after the U.S. presidential elections. At the moment, Kiev is focused on organizing its defense for the winter and, at the same time, is beginning to plan its military operations for the coming year. This includes the involvement of new brigades that are being formed, sources close to the situation indicated. The long-term strategic planning is aimed at strengthening Ukraine's response capabilities in the coming months, especially in view of the challenges faced on the battlefield. However, while Kiev prepares for the future, U.S. officials appear to be under illusions about the course of the war. Russian President Vladimir Putin has reportedly given up on any possibility of peace talks with Ukraine following the Ukrainian Armed Forces invasion of the Kursk region. According to sources close to the Kremlin, Putin is ready to fight until the Ukrainian state collapses. Prior to this event, intermediaries between Russia and Ukraine had been trying to de-escalate the conflict by limiting attacks between the two sides. However, the Ukrainian invasion has reportedly convinced Putin that such efforts were merely a cover for an invasion of Russian territory. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continues to push his victory plan, seeking support from Western allies. He argues that the only way to defeat Russia is to implement his strategy, which includes Ukraine joining NATO and using Western missiles against Russian territory. Zelensky was recently in London, where he met with the British Prime Minister and the new NATO Secretary General to discuss these proposals. Zelensky outlined his victory plan to British leaders, insisting that Ukraine must join NATO as soon as possible. He also discussed strengthening Ukraine's air defense, improving aviation capabilities, and increasing domestic production of missiles, drones, and long-range weapons. He also stressed the urgency of including Ukraine in the alliance, saying that this would be a crucial step toward ensuring sustainable peace in the region. A promise to consider his plan with the allies was one of the main conclusions of their meetings. Ukrainian experts point out that Zelensky is actually seeking to drag NATO into a direct conflict with Russia in order to increase pressure on allied countries. For him, peace is not a viable option, as it could mean the end of his political career and possibly his own personal security. However, this strategy raises concerns among some European leaders. The Hungarian foreign minister warned that Ukraine's accession to NATO under the current conditions could inevitably lead to the outbreak of World War III. Despite these warnings, the first point of Zelensky's victory plan remains NATO membership. During the Ukraine Southeast Europe Summit, he argued that Ukraine's entry into the alliance would be a geopolitical defeat for Russia and a key to regional peace. He stressed that if immediate membership is not possible, at least a formal invitation should be extended to Ukraine, something that could be accomplished, even if it takes decades. According to an Italian newspaper, one of the main goals of Zelensky's recent trip to Europe was to gauge the willingness of European Union leaders to provide Ukraine with guarantees if Kyiv accepted a ceasefire plan based on the current front line. In exchange, Ukraine would give up territories already lost and possibly receive an invitation to join NATO and the EU. On the other hand, it is worth remembering that in the summer of this year, Vladimir Putin had already set clear conditions for the start of peace negotiations with Ukraine. Among these conditions is the complete withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from the territories that Russia considers its new regions, as well as the demand that the rest of Ukraine maintain a status of neutrality, without ties to military alliances such as NATO. These demands, however, create a stalemate, as Kyiv seeks international support while Moscow insists on its terms. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. Your interactions mean a lot to us and help us grow. See you next time.